Just check the time. It's quarters of a clock. And we're right on schedule. Yeah, welcome back to the exit explanations where I go. I'm so sorry. I go through all of my songs on this upcoming mixtape and give you all the explanations on how they came to be. Today we got track two. If y'all can see my screen here. Hmm. Inside Out. How I made my first spicy song. I'm gonna let you know. So this all starts while I'm making Needles, the extended correspondence. We start with chapter one, the boon of procrastination. So I'm trying to make Lament. And if y'all have heard that song, you'll know that it's got a little bit of stuff going on in the instrumental. I had so much fun making it and an absolute nightmare mixing it. As you can see here, I'm normally a very anti-hella tracks guy, but we got up to like 169 tracks. Nice. And it was just such a problem to mix. So I was procrastinating mixing, looking through samples to try and figure out how to make the percussion sound nicer, etc. And I came across Lakeshore Afterimage, an Alexander Pano sample pack by Moment. Right? I want to take a moment to shout out Cody Martinez, a great friend of mine, and also just like such an important part in my creative process. I guess like mentor, guru, guide, even at times. I'm gonna tag him down in the comments because he's got a book coming out that y'all should check out. But Cody put me on to Splice generally, and then I think also onto this sample pack. This sample pack, if you like ambient music, if you like Botanica, this is your sample pack. Alexander Panos made a masterpiece. It's beautiful. And if you don't know what Splice is, it's basically a place where you can go and get a bunch of different types of sounds. So, like whether that's different drum sounds or different guitar sounds or whatever, and you can put them into your song. And it's dope. But I'd always been kind of resistant to it because I like making my own sounds, etc. But it's also really fun to get inspired off of other people's sounds and just twist and chop around with whatever. It's been happening for millennia. Okay. So got on there. Alexander Panos had this harmonizer type, like weird vocal thing going on. So I took like a bunch of those, chopped them up, made it instrumental in like 30 minutes. And if y'all have seen me produce on twitch.com.tv.net, I am slow. I'm a slow producer for sure. And this was just the fastest an instrumental had come out maybe ever, to be honest. And it was so fun. And it's like this four on the floor, weird, like kind of, I guess, like house type beat, maybe. I don't really know electronic music genres. So please, like, somebody let me know about that, about what that is. And I was like, how do I write on this? What do I do? And luckily enough, at this point in my life, and I can't remember when this was, it was earlier this year. It was at this point in my life, earlier this year. I had some experiences built up that that I was kind of ready to write on a house track. Um, so you might be asking what happened? And I'm about to answer that. And the first thing you need to know is what my life was like in 2023. So 2023, specifically the summer of 2023, was like one of the most active times in my entire life. I There was a lot of things that came into fruition. It was the first summer I was in New York. So me and a bunch of friends all moved in like early winter to New York and we like, thugged it out through, as they say, through the winter. And if you've ever been in New York when it starts getting warm, it's like the entire city like just comes alive and like everybody's so excited. People are popping fire hydrants. It's just people are dancing. Bad Bunny's playing because Un Verano Sin Ti had just come out and it was a fire album. I mean, it hadn't even just come out, but people were playing that shit for like 3 years after it came out. And it was electric. And we were hanging out with all our friends. We were making a bunch of new homies. I started going to therapy for the first time. It was crazy. And we were playing shows. We were going to parties, and it was my first time really like going out a lot, especially in like, and I wasn't even like going to clubs like that. I was just outside a lot. We had this little routine thing that we would do where we would go to this park, and I would bring a bunch of paint supplies that I found on the side of the road when I first moved in, and I would buy like I'll bring like 2 liters of white wine from the deli down the street, and I would just like text everybody being like, what, and we did it every week. It was Wine and Paint Wednesdays. At 5 p.m. we'd pull up, and it was such a great thing to like invite people to. And we met a lot of people like that. And we started just going out and having a blast. And these are some of my friends, etc. Oh, that's me. I don't know if my face is covering myself for y'all, but let that be known. That's me at the show and stuff. So this is what was happening. And throughout this, of course, I'm I'm meeting people I'm interested in, right? And so there's one person in particular, right, that tossed me for a bit of a loop, a little bit of a loop, and influenced a lot of the media and needles. And I hadn't written about them in a long time, uh, but this seemed like a good time to do it. So, thusly, I go to clubs. I made this slide because I just thought it looked funny to say Bryce goes to the club in the middle of a white screen. And I kind of also wanted it to explain what I was just talking about. But also now verbally, I'm going to the club, right? And y'all haven't heard this song yet, so we're gonna get into the lyrics. Watch this. I need to hold on. And if y'all, how do I do this? I know y'all can't see that, bro. Yo, I'm gonna let y'all know I don't know what this looks like right now. It works. It works. I've never done this before. This is very exciting. So look at this, right? I'm talking about, I think about you all the time. I'm talking about like the effects this person is having upon me. And then I'm like talking about dancing and stuff and look like romantic interactions. And this is the first time in my life that I've done this. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge how terrible that analysis and breakdown of lyrics were. And I also want to take a moment to, I'm in public right now. I also want to take a moment to note that when I say I'm gonna need you to be straight before I turn you, I mean straight up with me, not heterosexual. That's not a prerequisite. Okay, let that be known. Obviously, I've always talked about romantic interactions, but I think like explicitly and especially like sexually, these are things that I've always like been averse to writing about, and maybe that's something that I need to check in with myself on therapeutically. But this was the first time it came out, and it was such like a beautiful way to do it. And it was also kind of healing to revisit the stuff I was talking about in Needles like a year later in a more playful light. And I think the song came out as it should. And that brings us to our last slide. And I don't know if you can see this. How do I feel about it? How I feel about it now? How do I feel about this now? Yo, I love this song. I love this song. I think it's simple and it's effective. I also love layering a bunch of vocals. It's my first time trying something like this. I'm taking a lot of inspiration from TJ Weaver melodically. So shout out TJ Weaver, specifically songs like Purikura and TMJ, I think. Phenomenal songs. And that is the story of Inside Out. I hope you like it. I don't really feel super good about how I ended this, but yeah, I like the song. All right, Jesus, not all this has to be deep. All right, it's a good song. It's got a little boop 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 to it. I hope you enjoy it. Throw some ass to it. Exit the mixtape January 13th. Inside Out. I hope you guys are well and happy January. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge how terrible that analysis and breakdown of lyrics were. And I also want to take a moment to, I'm in public right now. I also want to take a moment to note that when I say I'm gonna need you to be straight before I turn you, I mean straight up with me, not heterosexual. That's not a prerequisite. Okay, let that be known.